there's a lot going on right now with the 2024 election. And let me just say, what I'm going to say next to you guys is not in no way, shape, or form and any type of endorsement of any type of Democratic candidate on a national level. I did not vote for Biden. I did not vote for Hillary. I have not voted for a Democrat in the state elections. I am not a Democrat. I am a registered independent. But let me just say, I was so hopeful. After the potential attempt on the president's life. I was like, man, maybe the Prophet Briggs was right. Maybe Trump's gonna come back a new person from this. Maybe this is what's gonna be that's gonna give his life to Jesus. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. He came back and said, I can't be a nice guy. I got to go hard. Now, there's potentially some buyer's remorse with Vice President Vance because they selected him prior to Biden dropping out. Now you got somebody that's even further right than you, and you don't have anybody to unify or to connect you. And so instead of him leaning in and trying to unify and win the independence, he's making statements like this.
Give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job. We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution.
In context of what just happened with the lady who...
Sonia
Macy, who said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and then got shot in the face. Why would you keep saying this?
Yeah, bad timing.
Why would you keep saying this? Play it again.
He's giving local police immunity from prosecution. They get prosecuted. When they do their job, they get like your soldiers.
Complete immunity? Why? Why would you say this right now? They already have qualified immunity for personal liability. Why in the world, in an election year, would you come out and say we're going to give police immunity? He needs to clean this up. He absolutely needs to clean this up. Yeah, listen, I don't even know if he has the legal right to do this. So 3 hours ago, let's see. Trump questioned on officer immunity stance after Sonia Macy. Does he actually get questioned on this, or is this like, okay, how is not being federally immune stopping them from doing their job? Because he's saying that they have to operate with less force because there's body cameras.
Hello.
Right? And so if they mistreat someone, they can go to jail. As they should. Yeah. As anybody that mistreats anybody should go to jail.
Yeah.
So let's see. Former President Trump faced a slew of questions when he was interviewed at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago Wednesday, and he was asked about his support of qualified immunity for police officers in the wake of the fatal shooting of Sonia Macy. Okay, Macy was killed in her Springfield home earlier this month. In the case that stunned the nation, video of the incident was quickly released. Okay, Trump has been outspoken in his support of police officers, but has gone a step further in recent campaign appearance. Okay, so maybe he's going to clean this up for us. Maybe he means, no, they already have civil immunity. That's what qualified immunity is, guys. They cannot be personally held liable. That's what qualified immunity is. That's already a thing. I'm not sure if you guys know that.
That's why police departments get sued?
That's why police departments get sued. Okay. And that's why there's police unions that have so much legal protections for police officers. That already exists.
Unless they like drastically do something outside the guidelines of the actual department, right?
Yes. Yeah, but like in the case of Sonia, he was rightfully charged with as he should have been. So my question is, he needs to clean this up very quickly. Are you saying that dude shouldn't have been charged with that? That's not what he's saying.
The timing of the statement.
The timing of the statement is bad.
Saying.
Yeah. Qualified immunity is a legal principle that protects government officials from lawsuits, right, for damages unless they violated clearly established constitutional or statutory right. Right. Lawsuits, right? So we're talking about lawsuits, not criminal charges. Okay. All right, come on, Trump. Don't fumble this. I'm talking about people. Okay, so as an example of why officers need protection in courts in a view of public. Okay, I'm talking about people that are much different cases and that we need police to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, he said, July 4th weekend, there were 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Okay, fair enough. We don't want that. That's fair. We need to have our police officers have respect and dignity back. Fair enough. Yep, I agree. That didn't look good. Okay, fair enough. We need better training for police. We need them to have more respect. Fair enough. Trump said that he did not support full immunity from prosecution, but said that the limited time officers have to make decisions should be taken into consideration. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. he said. Sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they've made a mistake. Throughout his campaign, Trump has blasted Democrats for wanting to defund the police, and we all agree that's a bad idea.
Yeah,
They've done studies, and they found that people in black neighborhoods and high crime neighborhoods, in poor neighborhoods, don't want to defund the police. 70% of folks don't want to defund the police because they need police. So that's a moot point. And has said that during rallies that his administration would give police their power back in an effort to reduce crime. We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution. That just is. I can't be the only one that just reads that and goes, "That's not the message right now."
No, yeah, it's really bad.
That's a really bad message
out
right
of all
now.
the ones. Like he's on the we won't tax tips. We Social Security should not be taxed.
I like all those.
Great.
Those are great.
Great for the marketing. Run the playbook. If you're covering no taxing tips and no taxing Social Security, you just covered the youth and you covered the olds. And with those two, you're doing pretty good. This is kind of like
yeah, this is too confusing. This is too muddy. I think if you are in an election like this and you really want to win, this is the time you go to unify people. This is the time you go to win over the independents. Trump had the biggest support of black male voters out of any Republican in the history of the country. Okay, you got to be very careful and surgical when you're saying these things. Okay, now he thankfully walked it back and he's saying, "I'm not saying full immunity." Okay, fair enough.
He did.
He did. That's. I mean, we just read that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? He said, I'm talking about people that are much different cases and that was need to believe themselves in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then he says, Trump said he did not support. So he said he did not support full immunity from prosecution. Yeah. Great. Okay, he did not support full immunity. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But when you make an quote unquote innocent mistake, aren't you still held accountable?
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard because I think I agree most. If I was to steel man the position of qualified immunity, which I think is
again, remember, qualified immunity is civil suits.
Exactly, and it's already pretty generous, right? Like the Sonia Macy thing is flat out right. You need to have better judgment, or else you're going to prison. There's other scenarios where they are covered, and so if I was to steel man immunity from their perspective, it would be that they are placed in high stress scenarios where the wrong decision could mean like a life sentence if it was a citizen, but they're placed in those scenarios far more often. So like if you were placed in a life or death scenario and you have your pepper spray and your gun on you, and then you're like, oh, like I misread how much aggression he was coming towards me and I shot him, and he was holding like a spoon. I thought it was a knife. I was at a public restaurant, whatever. People probably wouldn't see the difference and you would get sent to prison, right? But if you made the right decision and you pepper sprayed somebody, then you're chilling. But the question is, if you're put in that scenario 10 times, 20 times, are you always going to make the pepper spray? Or is there a scenario in which you accidentally misjudge the scenario and you use your firearm? And so the immunity conversation, if I was to steel man it, would be, again, I'm against police states. I'm against intense policing. I actually am against a lot of these things. But if I was to steel man, the immunity scenario is the idea that like they are placed in so many of those scenarios that it's hard to ask them to do a job while also expecting that they never have a misplaced judgment.
Right. And so now so how does that misplaced judgment gets punished?
And so that's the point.
Right? Because if you're a private citizen and you're on your phone while you're driving, you're speeding while you're driving, accidentally kill somebody. Okay, granted, yes, that's not murder one, but
you're held
liable.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you don't have qualified immunity. You can still get sued in a civil suit. And so it's like, if the role of government is to also protect marginalized people or the oppressed people, according to Jeremiah chapter 22, which we did a whole video about. What is the role of government? It is to use the sword to suppress evil, but it is also, according to Jeremiah 22, the advice the prophet gave to the kings is to make sure that the people who are poor, people who are struggling, are not mistreated. Guess who has the most run-ins with police? People who are poor.
Yeah.
So if those people should not be mistreated. So if those people are mistreated, what is the proper consequence? And I'm saying this is bad. This is a bad look. This is bad language from him to say this. I'm glad he clarified that he's not saying full immunity for prosecution, but I think this is confusing and it's not a good time and it's completely, he just misses the step. And I wish someone was around that can consult him, that can give him better advice on how to navigate these situations. Because he really does. I think people are so tired of the Democratic Party right now. I think people are so tired with what's been shoved in their face that he really has an opportunity to win if he really wants to win. But it doesn't seem like that's what's happening. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.